Hi, intrepid viewers. How are you, beautiful souls? I'm sorry I didn't get to this video any earlier, but I have had family issues. And so could you all please send prayers to my beloved older brother who's just finishing cancer treatment. I think he's going to be okay. But send him some love. He is a honey, absolute honey. Now, want to start with some good news. I just got a WhatsApp call from friends in Brazil. Lula has been announced as the winner after a very close election, and that is very good news because he did what he could for the Brazilian people, and then he was sabotaged and all that stuff that goes on. But although the man cannot single-handedly save the Brazilian rainforest, it's much better to have Lula at the helm than Bolsonaro, who was just upfront about logging it day and night, So that is in the tick column. Happy about that, right? So I will be looking at a couple of races today. In other news, I want to pay tribute to the Russian submarine guys. It's I think a 60-year anniversary since the Bay of Pigs and all that. And one man, and his name was Vasily Arkhipov, actually held out. So they were in a submarine with the nuclear weapons. Moscow has said, we are giving 3 of you the power to decide to use these weapons. You don't have to come back to Moscow for authorization, but the 3 of you must decide. And at some point, 2 of the 3 said, let's do it. We're going to push the button. And it was Vasily Arkhipov who said no. So he really is single-handedly responsible for the fact the Gulf of Mexico and region isn't just a nuclear wasteland. So credit where credit is due. Now, also, Michael Riley, who's a 26-year veteran of being a Capitol Police officer, but was a huge Trumpist, he has just been convicted of obstruction of justice because he was one of the ones who said to someone else on Facebook or another platform, delete everything, they're going to be looking, obstruction of justice. So that's a nice way of saying selling out your country, isn't it? Obstruction of justice doesn't really sound as bad as it is for these guys. But first and foremost, I'm going to have a look at Elon Musk. Now, where to start with Elon Musk? Because he's been a billionaire for so long, he has deep connections with China, he has deep connections with Russia, and he got Saudi Arabian money to help him pay for Twitter. Because let's face it, once you're a billionaire, you don't have a political allegiance, you don't even have a national allegiance. It's all about power games. So he's cozied up to all the worst of the worst. But the upshot is, I think he lost last night. I love this. Last night, he lost $33 billion in sponsorship because he's a thug and a pig in a suit. Sponsors have pulled out massively. And so I want to have a look at Elon, and I want to have a look at the future of Twitter. Okay. So one article I was reading was very interesting. It was saying the platforms that aren't monitored and can say anything, the full-on hate speech ones, I guess like InfoWars or whatever, don't do as well financially as ones that are better monitored. So in the middle, you have like Facebook and Twitter that was sort of, they had some moderation, but they weren't totally across everything. And apparently one of the best moderated is TikTok. And TikTok is taking over, leaping over the others. So let's have a look if he's made a smart business decision or not. Come on down. Well, yes, no shortage of money. Very watery cards. This isn't what I was expecting at all. Then there's the money. So what's going to happen? I'll pull a clarifier on that. Look, Elon has made a great deal of money. If that rocks your boat, full marks to Elon. Whatever, you know. But he's got it, and he's got it in the palm of his hand. But he's actually really extended himself with this deal. Now, here comes the King of Cups. This is my Biden card as a rule, but like I said, these guys are beyond national stuff. So I think it's a King of Cups in a different way. With cups, they're about emotion, but they're also about the artistic side of ourselves. But they can also be very Neptunian and mysterious and watery, meaning hard to get hold of. And that's what I'm getting from this card for him. He's sitting surrounded by water. In other words, he's a bit of a one-man island. That's interesting. He has connections here, there, and everywhere, right? You know, not short. You're never short of friends if you have that much money. But would you want to rely on any of them? I don't think so. No. So people are constantly trying to get your attention, trying to be your best friend. But it's next door to this thing where, despite these strong, hugely powerful connections, he's feeling a bit isolated. He then gets the Page of Cups, which is younger than the king. So this is Elon, the grown-up, who's an immensely powerful, wealthy man. This is the boy who had these fantasies. Let's go into space. Let's do this. Let's do that. That's the boy in him. And you will notice that his ventures aren't doing that marvelously. It costs indescribable amounts of money to send a rocket into space, even if it blows up. For it to not work costs billions. Then you have Tesla. Now, if you ask me, Tesla is in rocky territory. And why do I think that? Just as someone who sort of takes an interest in global news, it's inevitable to me, and therefore it can't be, you know, that cryptic. China will bring out a cheaper electric car, and I think that's what the deals have been with China. So I think Tesla's shares will drop too. So if Twitter falls off the perch, not so marvelous. You can make big money and lose big money. But okay, so this is him. This is the naive side of Elon, the little boy side that just wants the new adventure. 10 of Pentacles, the legacy card of money. What is it talking about here? Let me pull you down while I pull a clarifier or two. So is he going to make an immense amount of money? The 10 of Pentacles, or what? Or is it fool's gold? I'm sorry, I've put you there and you can't even see the cards. Sorry about that. Fool's gold versus a lot of money. Here we go. 9 of Pentacles, he has the good. Oh, okay. 2 of Swords. It must be because it's election season. I don't know about other readers. I am getting the 2 of Swords for everything. Let's read about this. Let's read about that. 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords. Why is that? Because we're at one of those hinge moments in history. Really, really big hinge moments. Eclipse, not eclipse, that just magnifies everything. But we're at this thing. Will people take control of their own lives and engage with their own democratic processes and fight the good fight? Or will they just hunker down? Whatever. This card keeps turning up. So what does it mean for Elon? He got this card, which is a card of a very nice, affluent life, everything at your fingertips, followed by this card, which would suggest to me, we'll have to keep our eye on this, I just don't think this is going to be the money maker he thinks it is. I could be wrong. He could make money in his sleep. He doesn't actually need my financial advice. I am simply saying, interesting card. Okay. All right. Now, while I'm shuffling away here, today is Halloween. So if you missed it, go to Hogarth's channel, where I was on with Hogarth and Lady G. And let me tell you, it's worth hunting the video down just to see Lady G's entrance. It is gold, as we say in Australia. Absolutely fabulous. I do love her dearly. Meanwhile, tomorrow is the 1st of November in Australia. The first Tuesday in November is always Melbourne Cup Day. And it's the biggest horse race in the world, I think. We think it is, so I don't know whether it is or not, but it's a big deal in Australia. So from the moment you're born, you know about the Melbourne Cup. We used to have to go to school during cyclones and 100-degree heat. No, the only time we got a bit off school was Melbourne Cup Day. And they would drag in one of those big 60s television sets. We'd all watch the Melbourne Cup race. It's bizarre, I know. Okay. So the nation stops. If you want to do a bank heist in Australia, you do it the first Tuesday in November. And so everyone gets drunk. What else do you do on a Tuesday? I mean, really drunk. I can't even find the adjectives to describe how drunk some people get on Melbourne Cup Day. But when you go out early in the morning, you see these young women in these beautiful sun frocks and big hats and high heels. And by 4 in the afternoon, not even the night, you know, one shoe's gone, the hair is gone to God in a handbasket, you know, and they've probably thrown up on their frock, you know. It's not pretty. You wouldn't want to be a taxi driver on Melbourne Cup. Anyway, I have to go and put my bet on because it's an Australian tradition. All right, I digress, viewers. Now, I want to look at Pennsylvania, the Shapiro versus Mastriano. Shapiro versus Mastriano, I think that's right. We'll see. Mastriano, I think, is a Trumpist. Is that right? A Trump nutter? So it's Shapiro versus Mastriano. I'll put Shapiro on the left. Then I'll shuffle a few more cards and put Mastriano on the right. Shapiro. Quite promising. Oh, Mastriano, Pennsylvania, what are you going to do? Are you going to vote for this man, Mastriano? Huh. This could be looking at a bit of a vote steal here. So let's do Shapiro first. Not bad cards. 7 of Wands he's defending, so whatever ads or anything that Mastriano is putting out there, Shapiro is managing to hold his own with that. It's quite promising. People celebrating. I think women prefer Shapiro. Chariot, momentum. I'm liking those cards, right? If I was just looking at that, I'd go their yes cards. Then we have Fool's Gold, or possibly GOP money being pumped into Mastriano. I don't know. But the one I don't like particularly, Five of Swords, he is ruthless. This guy is ruthless. It's also very similar to the Seven of Swords and the theft card, but he'll stop at nothing. Strength, meaning I think he's got significant GOP backing. But let me just pull another one or two. So I'll just ask, will Shapiro win? Let's see what we get for that. I don't like that Five of Swords. We shouldn't be surprised. They will stop it. Nothing is too low for these people to do. Shapiro. Oh, I'll stop. The victory card. Oh, loving that. I'm loving that. Okay. Okay, so Pennsylvania. Now, I've been asked to do South Carolina, and this is McMaster, who's the Republican, versus Joe Cunningham. Now, let's see what's going on. We talk quite a bit about North Carolina, but what's happening in South Carolina? I've got a blank. Is Lindsey Graham north or south? Satan's poodle, as I now call him. Okay, but this is the particular race, which is McMaster versus Joe Cunningham. Joe Cunningham, Democrat first in South Carolina. They're all defending. Mysterious. Okay, let's have a look at McMaster, Republican. Oops. Flew out. Oh. Leave that. Manipulation, that's interesting. McMaster. Oh, God, I'm shuffling like a primate. Let's have South Carolina, McMaster. Okay, so the Democrat gets the moon. So again, I think it's that thing, the message isn't quite clear. He is batting away the worst of the worst quite successfully, but I don't think it'll be enough. He does have the World card, but the Republican has the Empress. So I think with this can be a major ending. And don't forget, we need endings to have new beginnings. But my vibe on this is there'll be enough manipulation to expand the vote for McMaster, and the sword is raised there. So I think it's going to be the Republican in South Carolina. Now, I want to have a look at New Mexico too. Hopefully that'll be a bit better. So many of you guys live in New Mexico because it is such an extraordinary place. Okay. Now, while I'm shuffling, in other news, what else is going on here? Oh, it's funny. For the last however many years of the Yeti, I never saw, well, one, I didn't see him going to jail, unfortunately, but I never saw him leaving the country. You know, at different times, people would say, will he leave? And I was going, I didn't read on him leaving, but I just thought 78, no. Then the other day on Hogarth, a viewer asked the question, and all three of us got him attempting to leave. So that's why you've got to keep questioning these things because the energy does shift and change. Now, New Mexico governor's race. It is Mark Ronchetti, GOP, versus Michelle Lujan Grisham, Democrat. I think she might already be in. Okay, so Democrat is Michelle Lujan Grisham, and the GOP is Mark Ronchetti. Okay. Okay, we'll do Michelle first. New Mexico, Michelle, she's in. Oh, I like that. Oh, goody, goody, goody. And Mark Ronchetti. Okay, unfortunately, they've both got good cards, but hopefully she has a bit of an edge. I'll do him first. So he's quite confident because the lion, which is sort of in these cards, now it's turning up a bit like the elephant. I should use those circus cards that have the Republican elephant in them. They're very good for these. Why didn't I think of that? Okay. So he's got huge GOP backing. And King of Swords, so there could be a bit of a legal something. But I'm not getting an out-and-out win for him because for her, I think she is the incumbent. That's her sort of resting on her laurels to some extent. She gets the star card, good things about America, and people celebrating, people of diversity celebrating. So I'm going to say she is going to be okay in New Mexico. So we had 2 wins and a nasty loss. Oh, dear, oh, dear. I think the takeaway message, let me know in the comments what you think about this, viewers. I think this election of all elections, it's really, really ultra important that Dems don't concede. We know every Republican candidate, look, it doesn't matter what twisted, inadequate psychopath they put up, they are going to fight the results. We know that. It's really important that the Dems don't do a Gore and go, well, the vote's close, we gave it a go, see you in 2 years' time. No, the Dems must be prepared to fight in court because that will also reveal the process. And here I'm looking at Beto, Stacey Abrams, these ones, the really important critical races that are bound to be close. The Dems have to be the ones going, no, we'd actually really like to have a close look at your election process because then it'll come out in the wash. So let me ask that. Will the Dems? Politeness aside, hold on. I need a sip of coffee for this. It's making me, hold on. Here we go. Now, what's my actual question? Oops. Will the Dems, will they fight the results? Okay, will the Dems contest results? Will the Dems contest some key results? Don't expect them to do everything, but key results. Will the Dems contest key results? Really loudly, vigorously. Let's have a look. Come on, Dems. Dems. Okay. Oh, defense. security, movement, delusion. Oh. Ugh. Okay. Let me tell you what I've got here. Okay. So yes, they do have to defend the results. So do not be afraid, Dems, to take this on. Queen of Pentacles here. I'll just take this moment. I digress, but this is important. Prayers also for Paul Pelosi. Where was the security? I'm not saying in a suspicious conspiracy way necessarily. There's probably a couple of guys eating hamburgers in the squad car. I don't know. But where was the security? But please don't think I'm making a big thing of it. It's just a question. This is often my Pelosi card, and I think it is here too. A lot is going to rest on Pelosi's decision-making, whether they will fight some of these key races. A lot of energy around this, of course, you know. So this is not surprising. Speed, momentum, and they have to do it in a timely fashion. Like the second that the GOP announced they win, challenge, challenge, challenge. People everywhere are confused by the process, by the people, by the behavior, by what's happening. And of course, would you believe that are the card du jour? This is so important, this card. It is in your hands. You have the swords in your hands. It is so important, the decisions that are made at this juncture. Really, really important. Okay, so check out, please, Dave from Moonride, who's done, we were going to do things together, but both our lives have got really manic and stupid. So he's done some great calming videos for you. So, you know, check those out on Moonride. And look, I can't tell you again how much this work means to me and how much I appreciate you guys, you know, because often, of course, I get comments going, oh, thank you, you're keeping us sane or you're keeping us calm. This is a two-way street. You are keeping me sane and calm. So thank you so very much. I owe it to you guys. So lots of love. Lots and lots of love. Take care, guys. Oh, you know, I always have these fake finishes. I don't mean it to be dramatic. It's just always something pops into my brain as I'm about to press the off button. Because, you know, they've got people looking, you know, staking out ballot boxes and all this crap. A viewer suggested, and I think this is a good idea, a bit of a guerrilla campaign in the sense of two things have been suggested. One is driving past the ballot box and round the block first to see if there is anyone, you know, so you're not just sort of pulling up and then you see them and you're freaked out or something, you know. Drive around the block, lay of the land, but keep, I know it sounds silly, but it could work, either a MAGA hat or, you know, some sort of GOP nonsense or something on you in your car or when you're walking, and then just go, hi guys. I think then they're less likely to try and find out what your registration number is and when you, where you live and all that stuff. It's a little trick of the eye. Okay. Anything to keep safe.